Okay, what's good? What's good? Waiting on everybody to come in the room. Waiting on everybody to come in the room. I see somebody came in the room. Just waiting on more people to come in right now. Few technical difficulties, real quick. Waiting on more people to come in. Cause I was gonna do it on IG Live, but I put it on here. So I ain't sure like who that is, but what's going on? Shoot. I see somebody watching, but I don't know who that is. I don't know. I really can't see the chat, so. Oh shit. What's going on? I was trying to see what happened to most of the people. I don't know if they seen the I don't know if they seen I just sent a link to a lot of people, so I was trying to wait on them to come in here. Trying to see what's going on. Trying to wait on some more people to come up in here. Probably be like a little minute, but I don't know. If not, I might have to you must be going. You must be like having to go to sleep, like where you have to go to work and stuff. I see somebody else in here now. It's two of y'all. Trying to wait till at least like three or four, maybe. We're gonna be talking about the stuff that's in like Stargate, and some of these movies, and Aquaman. I want to do like tomorrow. I'll probably do like the Trojan. I think it's the Trojan War and the Excalibur. But I remember some of Excalibur, like from like some of the stuff. But I couldn't take notes because earlier power got knocked out. So just breaking down like a lot of that like hidden stuff that's in a lot of these movies now. But yeah, the power was out at like 12 to like maybe like 6 o'clock. I want to say. Um, I ain't sure like what. I guess a tree or something fell out there, so they was trying to fix it and trying to make it where it was make the power come back on in the tree. I guess somebody was either cutting it down or doing something, but all kind of stuff didn't happen today. I don't know, like maybe it went a day or something, but it's retrograde too, so expect anything. But yeah, yep. I was sitting there. I'm sitting up. I heard the tree fall. I'm like, oh man, like I'm like not today, because I had thought about it that I was gonna do a live because I sat there and finished Stargate last night, but it was just some of the stuff I had seen and that I noticed. Like I keep running into like a lot of sevens in these movies and these shows, and I know it's got stuff to do with like the chakras or whatever, but it's just putting the pieces together, so to speak. So I was waiting on some more people. I saw somebody came in, then they left. I'm not sure if people if people, well, I was about to say when you see it, you probably be able to like pick up once you see what I'm saying, once you see what I'm talking about, and you'll kind of notice it. But it's a lot of it is like it's like out in the open. I don't know. I guess they was thinking waiting on IG Live, but I figured to do it on here because I'm, what I'm saying, you can either, screen share it or, um, how to say, save it. So just in case if it didn't get, just in case if it didn't, share. But I don't know. I told them, I just sent everybody notices, so I don't know. I'm trying to see who else in here. I see somebody else on there now, two people. Um, Cause IG like it won't really let you save that much stuff on there. So I mean, it lets you save, but you have to keep restarting and. Yeah, I know you already had your medicine, so you through. But I'm gonna get late. See if one more person come on here, I'm see if I get one more. But if not, I'm gonna just start with the three. But I'm gonna get him like another minute because it's like 10 minutes in right now. So I know you don't get that long on like all these live things. So oh shit. Hold on real quick. Throw this napkin down. Made like a slight miss over here, but yeah. We'll just start with the three people that's up here, and the other people can just catch up once they get on here or like come back or whatever and watch the live. If not, missed it. I don't know. I made the announcement or whatever. I was kind of late getting to it, but I put it on my stories so everybody could catch it. But yeah, we'll jump into the Stargate first. But actually, you know what? I'm gonna jump into like the Aquaman actually, and then I kind of go back and forth. What's going on, Ethan? Yeah, we got four people now, so okay, yeah, we'll jump into like the Aquaman first, and then some of the stuff that's like similar over across like Aquaman, Excalibur, and some of the stuff that's in like Stargate, but it's all like hidden. It's all like a lot of hidden knowledge from like Kemet, and stuff that I guess now we know it's like it's would be like I guess the Indian, all the yoga practices, all that stuff is like origins is in Kemet, but um in Aquaman, the mother's name I think in the comic is Atalanta, but I think when they were the way she pronounced it, it was almost like she was saying Atlanta, and then they had the Super Bowl coming up for Atlanta, and they, I've seen it like a few times, like in it's a few cartoons I saw, like they were saying like, oh, Atlanta would be underwater, and basically saying like Atlanta was Atlantis almost. Um, a few things that kind of caught me was her name, the fact they were having the Super Bowl, but then if you go see the movie in Aquaman, it's like so much, I guess almost like blatant, like where stuff is like thrown out, like either like not even the messages, but just a lot of technology, a lot of stuff that you had like, you've seen, like if you've seen inscriptions from stuff in Kemet, stuff in India, stuff in even stuff in Iraq. Where it's like these flying, like not flying vehicles, but like things like under the water, or like creatures, or like they have these like super technology, and people will think like, oh, when they see it now they'll put it to like, oh, it's aliens, but in Aquaman it was all stuff that was just basically like Atlantis had like fallen, I guess. They had tried to do too much technological things, they had tried to advance too much, and I'm guessing it's almost to the way like Kemet is now, because Kemet used to have a lot of, it used to have grass. It wasn't like this I guess this desert now, but the way they'll tell you in books is that, oh, it's the weather, like, it changed the I guess the ground and everything so much to the point where it's all sand, but it's really from them playing with too much technology in Kemet, and just going, I guess, above and beyond just like helping themselves and doing like certain things, and it just really from the time of Atlantis, like to the point where you get to Kemet, it was really like a long fall, and a lot of the things that we have, I guess you finding out now, a lot of it was hidden, and it's like kind of hidden in plain sight. It's on the walls in Kemet, and it's also had been translated into like a few different languages by the priests that were in Kemet. A lot of people don't know, like a lot of the I guess they would say like the Native Americans, but really just the indigenous people in America spoke like most, if not all, the languages that that's come about, or that they tell you that, oh, it was something that came like much later, but it was pyramids already in America, way before, like, I guess the even we got to the, I guess, tribal at point, and they were saying they didn't build it, so that kind of let you know how advanced it was, like, I guess back then, and to a certain extent where we're going right now with this 5G, because 5G is really just really kind of just a, I guess, a hybrid version of what's to come, what's, what they already had basically. That's all like really 5G is, but the stuff that was in Atlantis was almost the same thing. Like with Kemet, was that they had tried to just go too far with the technology, and you see that now, like with a lot of things with the cloning and so much other stuff. Like you end up seeing, they we just going too far. You don't really know like who are the men, who are the women. It's crazy. It's real confusing. So things that went Aquaman was that, like the mother's name, the fact that his brother was wearing like silver, and Aquaman I think had green and gold, and I think the brother was like I want to say it was silver and almost like a purple color, but it was like blue, and they ended up fighting, and it was also the same. It was almost the same dynamic in Excalibur, where it was like gold against silver, and I think that was like a lot to do with like the money system, and it's also in like the Wizard of Oz too. You see a lot of green, a lot of gold. That they were saying like maybe that they I know that it's the money system for America is pretty much a wrap. Like what I'm saying, it's done. But Aquaman had gold and he had green, but it was the same thing in Excalibur, but the two in Excalibur it was like the father and the son that were fighting, but they were fighting over to like United Kingdom, and the things that was similar about those that seven that I kept telling you that I see a lot is it was seven kingdoms of Atlantis, and it's even in Game of Thrones where it's like it's seven kingdoms in Game of Thrones as well, and it's also like when it's I guess when they're out of alignment, they're at war. But in Aquaman, you couldn't go to war without, I guess, the kingdoms that were left. I want to say it was four, and I think you needed three of like, I guess, the remaining kingdoms to like, I guess, declare war. So it kind of lets you know, like, if you're not, your chakras, they tell you your chakras not aligned, but normally more than likely you're already like aligned. Like it's not really that you have to put your chakras in alignment. It's really that you have to like go within yourself and like just healing yourself. That's the only thing that's really like out of alignment. And the seven is just it's in like a lot of movies. Those are just like some of the three, but even in Stargate that they had the I think it was seven symbols, and the seventh symbol was the thing that actually could get them back to, I guess, back to this plane of existence was Earth. But some of the stuff that was in Stargate that I noticed, and that's kind of I guess parallel to right now. I got in my notes that I made. It was that the things that people knew how to write, read, and the things that were outlawed by I guess the alien or the outside force, as I would call it, the person that was pretending that he was, God and he was calling himself Ra, is that, he basically came in, took what he did was he came in, he took people from, they would tell you this was like, the Egyptians. They had all these Arab looking people, but it was no, I guess, like the melanated or like looked like me and you was, so to speak. So all the people that they had was all these like Arab looking people, even from the people that he took them and brought them back through the Stargate, and he like made basically his own like thing. He kind of took Kemen's teachings and created a slave society out of it, and it's kind of like a parallel today because everything that you see, like in D.C., like Washington D.C. and the Vatican, it's all like a perverted this thing of this Masons or whatever. Like they just perverted all Kemen's teachings or whatever, and they basically did the same thing. It's kind of telling you like that they created a slave society because what you end up doing, you working every day, you're not like really doing like your dreams to a certain extent. So, and there's the things that he outlawed in Stargate was that he told them that they couldn't write, and they weren't supposed to really like read. They were just supposed to believe. And what did that sound like? That sound like if you go into like church, they just want you to believe, and it's not really that you like, researching or finding out like what's really like the meaning of what's going on. And they also had the people in the movie scared of the gods, also. Um, but the gods, when they found out, like they, one of them got tripped up during the movie, and uh, one of the the doctor who came like through the Stargate, he actually found out, that they were human because he saw them. They had these masks on, and then you see all the Egyptian gods or the Kemetic gods. They have all these animal heads on or these animal totems, and when they found out, they found out like really the god is like you, like you are the, you're the god basically. It's no like, oh, it's just this outside force doing all these things, and it was kind of shocking to the people when they found out, because they had just always thought that they were just, something just benevolent, but they had them doing all this work. They had them mining these crystals, and the crystals that they had them mining, it was quartz. They had them a quartz mine on this planet. Yeah, we're talking about Star Wars, right? I mean, Star Wars, Stargate, Star Wars is another one, but yeah, basically, um, they were mining quartz, and they were telling them basically, that it was. I'm gonna just catch you up, Kiera, because we was talking about Stargate, but that they had an alien. They had the alien. He turned it all. He perverted pretty much everything that they got from Kemet. He came outside from the outside, stealing everything that he had, and just you see it now, like it's everything that's been from Kemet has been like taken, stolen. They told you it wasn't you. They try to repaint it. They trying to lighten everybody that's in Kemet, but also is that they found out, that they had to stop believing and actually like just believe in themselves, because that was really the only way that they could even like overthrow the masters that they had there. Um, and they thought that they were God. So they seen that they were men. They found out real quick, that these just people like us, they bled and stuff. So they ended up rising up. And some of the other stuff that was I noticed in the movie was that, the ship that he had was a pyramid. Um, a lot of people kind of finding out lately now, a lot of scientists that pyramids probably weren't, that there's nobody ever been found buried in a pyramid. That's the whole like killer to like a lot of this stuff that they tell you. There's no there's no real like inscriptions of anything that's really in the pyramid, so to speak. And also that it was more like probably a power generator. And the fact that they made this ship, most pyramids, if you find out now that this, we back. Had a little slight mishap. Yeah, but the pyramid is a power generator. Also, that was a big thing that was in the movie was that the sarcophagus, um, the doctor, I forgot his name, but the doctor, he had his he put his girlfriend, his a girl he met there, he put her in the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus was actually um healing. It actually would heal you if you had been like, I guess, hurt. And what Rob was telling him was the reason that he even took humans was because they were so easy to heal. And it wasn't really like it was so easy, I guess, to duplicate as well, because he took a human form. So it's kind of telling you a lot, like it's a short movie. It's not really like a long movie, but just the little stuff that I caught was that, even on the Egyptian walls is that it's saying that, I guess the sarcophagus is almost like a life after death, but they're telling you in Stargate that it was also just something that could in there it was healing people. So that kind of brings me back to a lot of things they tell you now, because I caught this with Bobby, that the Ark of the Covenant is really just a Mayat box. You know what I'm saying? It's got those angels on there, but all the angel is just what this stuff that they got from Egypt, a Mayat, a balance or whatever. And it's, if you see it, it's got almost a sacred geometry too, because it's four angels on each side. It's two on each side. But the box is supposed to be like real powerful. When you saw it in what is that? I forgot the movie, the Harrison Ford movie, the Indiana Jones. When you saw it on there, it was something that was like real powerful. And it's always, they always talk about it, but they never really knew where it's at. But I had heard it told that it was supposed to be hidden in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia, if you notice, it had never really been conquered. they had tried to take it over, but they tried to take it over, I guess, through war. So I'm not sure where the box is right now, but I even seen inscriptions on the some of the, I guess, the churches that they have in Ethiopia, that that box is supposed to be there, and it's also that um it's something like immense. It's something that's almost, it could be in the wrong hands, I guess, a weapon. So I'm not sure like what they did with it, but it'll probably explain what where some of this technology came from. Now, a lot of stuff in the Bible is stuff that's taken from Egypt or whatever. It's taken like a lot of stuff from the Book of the Dead, but the Book of the Dead is really just a book of the living. Really, it's not really, I guess, literally like stuff by stuff that's all you dead or whatever. But if you know anything, um energy can't die. You know what I'm saying? Like energy, they show you the mummies and everything, but it's basically just telling you, it's the life after death is telling you, like, that's why they have all these this they took all this stuff with them, or they buried all this stuff with them because they like, oh well, I'm coming back. And it's, you probably I would probably think, like, what I'm saying, that there's a few of them came back because they remembered who they may have been, and came back just to live it again, because energy can't die. So it's always just transferred. But some of the other things that I saw in the movie, and that I guess even that was more powerful too, that was one to say, was that the sarcophagus that was in Stargate, it was a healer, but it was also inside of another thing that's like, power and everything else, and that was the pyramid. um some of the other things that I actually noticed, let me go through some of these other notes, because some of the stuff from, I guess, with Excalibur and like Aquaman, also with that has a lot of sevens on it, is Toyotas. If you'll notice, like, Toyotas have that symbol is like almost like a I guess they calling that the Earth, or planet Earth, and it's like seven. I want to I want to say the last time I counted, it was like about seven areas that were on the actual symbol, and I was like, this more of this Atlantis symbology, I guess, almost, because they kind of, you see a lot of people in these cars, and they last like very long. If you ever noticed that with Toyotas, not a lot of problems out of them. Um, that was stuff I just noticed, just lately, like kind of noticing like a lot of sevens. But stuff that was in like Game of Thrones, it was like that. There was seven kingdoms. The seven kingdoms pretty much were at war. And the main house that everybody likes, and I guess that would be like the head, was the I think it's oh shit, it's house fuck. I'm trying to think of the name. I know the city is Winterfell, but it's Stark. House Stark is like the head, like that's like the top of the like the pineal, I guess, or the start of the whole chakra. And it's seven of those. It's seven kingdoms of those, and like when they, like, I guess, in the lower self, and which was war, there's like no balance, And now this time that's coming up now is like a more of a time of a balance, and it's you'll start seeing like a lot more things being revealed as well. Like since this is like the age of Aquarius now, it's sort of like you're seeing like a lot of Maya energy, a lot of Aquarius energy. And right now, since we're in this Pisces era, Pisces part of the month, but now about to go into, I think it's Taurus or Aries next. But you'll see like a lot being revealed, even with just today when I posted the I guess the Trayvon Martin, his mom, the mom and the dad, they're like in movies, like, a lot of these people just doing this stuff for money. You you thinking you know what's going on. You know, it seems like it's a shooting or something, and a lot of these people just actors. Hold on, what they said? The Capricorns what? I saw something about the Capricorn something, but yeah, this yeah, like you're seeing a lot of stuff that's happening on TV, and I'm not sure. Like you never really sure like what's real, what's fake, and it's so much that has happened or whatever. You know, they already telling you, they have holograms and stuff, and it's like, okay, so are you sure you saw what you saw? You know. Oh, okay, okay, I got you saying that yeah, we're using it now for the energy. Yeah, and I mean it's just a lot of technology, I guess, that you think like, we lost, but it's not. I'm sorry, it's reconnecting. But yeah, a lot of stuff you thinking that happened, you just watching like bigger movies, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's tuned in and stuff is happening, like, it's saying like people got shot, and it's like, did the person get shot, or did they just tell you it happened, or it's kind of confusing. So, but those are like some of the things I noticed, like with Stargate, and I guess with Aquaman, it was just Aquaman and Excalibur had like a lot of symbology of the same things, like a lot of hidden knowledge. Aquaman, it was also telling you like the hidden Earth, like the Hollow Earth. My bad. When his mom was found, because he had to go through like I guess the darkest place of which was the trench, one of the kingdoms. It had all these creatures that had like these almost like piranha like creatures or whatever, and they he went through like the darkest place, and it was almost kind of reminded me of if you have read Greek mythology, or what they tell you is Greek mythology is that Persephone was in the underworld, and they always said you could take this river, and the river Styx led to the underworld. But if you go to the underworld, there's different parts of it. So where his mom would I guess would be, or what they would say is the Elysian Fields, is like most probably like the most beautiful place like ever. All the heroes were there, but his mom was in almost like a land before time. But what was also significant about where his mom was, they showed it was like a hollow earth because they came through like a portal through the ocean, fighting, going, it looked like it was just really getting dark, but they seen this light at the end of the tunnel. They get through, and the mom is like on the other side, but they didn't know it was the mom right away. They thought it was like another one of the creatures. But I guess in the ceiling of it was like all this quartz, all this selenite was in the top of the was like in the earth. And they showed that in Mexico, it's like a whole cave full of like probably almost like a I guess a jumbo jet, like standing on end to end, like size pieces of crystal in the earth. And they kept finding these caves. Like they found a cave in Asia. It was like all the way like it was a cave, and they hadn't even like found the end of the cave like right now. So that lets you know like the earth has all these like hollow areas, even like Journey to the Center of the Earth. They telling you this in the book that the earth is like a hollow place. They had it in Aquaman, like I said again, but it's just more and more like blatant stuff you're gonna end up seeing like in a lot of movies that's out now. But that movie in particular just kind of threw out everything. Like it threw out Hollow Earth. It threw out um, I guess you have to go through like the darkest period of yourself to actually to actually become like powerful, and that's what he actually ended up doing by finding his mom. He actually had to find the trident that actually would unite all the kingdoms. But really, it's still more kingdoms that they didn't show. So they have a spinoff that's coming now, I guess, to kind of go into like what was, one of the other kingdoms the kingdom that he actually went through was the Trench. Um, but the next few movies probably will drop even more stuff that's just more blatant. But um, that was some of the stuff I noticed like so far. But they were just telling like a lot of stuff. Like they were telling you that the Earth is hollow. Like they've been saying it for like a while, but it's just they've been telling you all this stuff in your face, but none of us really ever seen it. Even because like I have to go back and look at like the other part too will probably be Trojan War and like Excalibur because I couldn't really remember it all, and with the power being out for like 5 hours almost, or I was supposed to be researching and watching them, but I didn't get a chance to watch like anything, so I'm just kind of doing the stuff I had seen most recently, which was Stargate and the Aquaman. But if you missed it, I was just talking to them about the Hollow Earth, like how they just threw that out, and how they just threw that out blatantly in Aquaman, and just telling you, like that it's that this is like the way that they've taught you about like all this about all these things like history and everything. It's just been like a joke. And it's kind of crazy because they tell you like if you go to not Atlantis, but I'm sorry, Antarctica. Why nobody is allowed to go to Antarctica, I have not figured out yet. I've even heard, I tried to find a picture, but that they were saying that Antarctica had like what do you call it? They said that Antarctica had they said in Antarctica had like that it was at one time it didn't have snow. So I'm not sure like if they're just telling you that it's got snow and that it's really some kind of paradise down there or what. But um a lot of stuff going sorry, it's reconnecting. A lot of cartoons have a lot of stuff like thrown in it, like Gravity Falls. It's got a pyramid. The person that was actually I guess the enemy in that whole show was an eye. It was a pyramid that had an eye in it, one eye, and it had a top hat. And I was like, oh crap! Like they're trying to tell you about like I guess who is really like running everything, and the person, the little or the I guess the villain was trying to find all these books, and I think even those books, it might have been 7 of those books possibly. I gotta look into that again, but I just remember some of the stuff that I seen in some of the movies, but even in some other stuff that they dropped in like a lot of these cartoons is that the Earth, even in Captain Planet, it's a black woman. That's basically is the god. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the person that if something happened to the Earth or the Earth get polluted, she gets sick, and that's why you see a lot of people. A lot of us getting sick now. People that's like in tune to the earth, like real good, or if it's sick, that's probably like why you getting like you having these issues right now. And a lot of us, the way we live is not, I guess, closer to nature, or like because we have like trees around us and everything, but what's going on every day? They're spraying like they're spraying this aluminum all out, and it's hiding like a lot. It's hiding like it's hiding these suns from us. They saying that we have one sun. I know that's bullshit because it's two suns. Like they showed you. That's what I wanted to talk about too. In Star Wars, there's where Luke Skywalker was. There's two suns. Um, some of the colors that they have in Star Wars, like purple lightsaber, purple energy that you've seen around people, like that you've seen around certain artists. Prince had purple. Prince always wore purple. Um, there are people who usually see green. Luke Skywalker, his green lightsaber. That's supposed to be like your heart chakra, I guess, or what they would say. Um, that purple energy, I want to say, is more like a healing, like uh seem like it's more powerful. It's almost like it's something like a color of the mothers or something, because it's I see it show up a lot. Um Even in Aquaman, the brother, he had like his armor was silver, but it had like a tinge of purple to it. I'm not sure if that means that the brother will actually try to come back and try to redeem himself or what, but um a lot of people, they tell you how you come into a lot of things is you don't you don't want it, so much is that you it's so much that you didn't want it that you ended up, getting like, I guess people would say like a blessings, or like, um gaining more knowledge or something. And even in Aquaman, he didn't want to be the king, but that's the person that ended up being the king. You know what I'm saying? It was the only person that could really do it. And he just, he told the people, he was like, I'm not really, you know, not really cut out for this. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up like being that he was the person that was cut out for it, because it was like he thought, oh well, I'm just a nobody. And that ended up being the main thing that kind of like, it was I think there was like a big animal that was like blocking him from actually getting a trident that would make him the king. And that's actually what got him to be king. Arthur didn't want to be king in Excalibur, but because he thought he was unworthy or whatever of it, was the actual thing that actually got him Excalibur, got him a kingdom. And those two weapons, the fact of that Excalibur came out of the water about as late in the lake, it's kind of like it was almost the same thing. Like Aquaman was almost like Excalibur, like um, it was kind of like Excalibur before Excalibur to a certain extent. It was sort of like just been retold and retold. But you notice, like I caught Bobby saying that too. Like you notice, with like a lot of the movies, the hero always gets the girl, and what you're really just watching is Isis and Osiris just kind of retold and retold again and again in all these movies. The hero always get the girl. Um, Also, is that I something I found out is that about like some of the comedic gods is that Set is the oldest. Set is probably like one of the oldest like pre-dynastic gods that they had, and that really Anubis, Osiris, and I think Horus is all like it's just pieces of Set that they just rewritten. But then they, later when they get to like the dynasties in Egypt, that they just, they had to make an enemy, so they made Set the person that was the enemy, and that him and Osiris, or that him and Horus would be the ones like fighting it out, and that he would be the villain, and that's how you ended up getting to this person now, this Satan. So that's where a lot of this stuff come from. It's just retellings of a lot of older stuff. Um, even with like Athena, she's like I saw this guy. He wrote this book, and the book was I think it's Black Athena, and all these scholars just flipped out because they couldn't believe somebody was saying that Athena was like this black goddess. And look at what you found out now, that Medusa, Libyan goddess. I think Athena is one as well. And kind of funny that like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was driving, an owl flew out of nowhere, like from the trees, and was chasing. I guess it was hunting something, because owls can see in the dark. It hunted whatever it is to the street, and it grabbed it. Like I saw it pop out in front of me. I hit the brakes, and I'm like, okay, I know it's not a hawk, because it was like maybe 3 in the morning almost, and I'm seeing like this bird just fly out of nowhere, like chasing this thing, and I'm like, I don't know if it was a, I don't know if that was a possum or if that was like a mouse or what that was it was chasing, but it definitely, I think it caught whatever it was. But an owl has been used for like so many different things. It's all in Native American, I guess what they'll say Native American, but really what is indigenous, an indigenous culture is that, some tribes said it was owls meant evil, but for the Greeks, owl was like a symbol for Athena, and Athena is like the goddess of wisdom. Really, she's like the god of war, really for the Greeks. But these men like faces on everything. So, but Athena is really, would be like Sekhmet to a certain extent. That Sekhmet really just kind of in a new face form. So when you see Greek stuff, it's that's your stuff really. Um, since we kind of jumping into like a lot of the Greek stuff, but yeah, that was what happened like a few days ago, I guess, and Athena then sent a messenger or whatever that I'm guessing that stuff that's blocking my path is like either being removed or something. I hadn't really been totally able to like break that whole break that whole incident down just yet, but because it's nothing really like you can look up for it. The only thing you can look up is that the imagery of like owls and certain things being sent to you, but definitely like some of the animal totems. So when I was in I think when I drove through Kentucky, it was a lot of wolves, a lot of wolves out, a lot of deer had been like hit. So I know that's like animal totems for my tribe is like a since my family is like part. I know one side of my family is Cherokee and the other side is I forgot the other tribe, but it's I found that out like by just asking my grandparents, like just asking them different stuff about where we were from and just finding out. But I probably would do like a part two tomorrow. But that was just some of the things I had like just found out or that had really just seen um in some of the shows and some of the movies. I'm sorry I didn't really have a chance to like study like that because I was really supposed to go back over not Stargate because I actually had saw that last night, but I was trying to actually get through this Troy or Fall of a City. But I'm glad I did like the Stargate and Aquaman, but I'll get back to the Excalibur and then I can actually put kind of piece together Aquaman and Excalibur more, and also a little bit of like Star Wars too. And then I'll just kind of go from there when I make videos. But this was my first like live on YouTube, so just thanking everybody that came through. I see it's only like one person now, so um, hope everybody get to see it tomorrow. Um, and that's it. I'm out.